The all-new SUUNTO 7 is a smartwatch that lies at the intersection of one for life and sports. This watch has all of the tools you need to stay on top of your busy lifestyle and all of the features you want for tracking sports, both indoors, outdoors, and off the grid. With downloadable maps, Google's Wear OS, and SUUNTO's signature software, this watch promises to be one of the best of 2020. This is definitely a larger watch. This one is probably on the order of 47 or 48 millimeters. You have 24 millimeter silicone straps right there. You have a 1.4 inch screen, and this touchscreen display is vibrant and very bright, getting up to about 1,000 nits. And it has, as you can see here, 4 buttons, which is really nice. None of these buttons actually rotate though, which is interesting. Here, they're thinking more about when you're, swimming in a lake, or if you're running a triathlon, or if you're going on a long trail run. A lot of times you just want quick buttons to see things and just kind of manage everything. So a lot of the workouts and a lot of the watch in general can obviously be controlled by touchscreen, but a lot of the apps can actually be controlled as well using the buttons. You'll see that the button on the left is your home button, also opens the app drawer. If you tap and hold it, you get Google Assistant. The top right opens the SUUNTO app, which is an app that you're only going to be getting on this watch. And I'll talk more about the SUUNTO app later on in the video, but it definitely is pretty much the bread and butter of this watch. It's really the reason you need to be buying this watch. Now on the right, we do have the middle button, which currently I have set to open and play music. And then the bottom I have for a timer right now. And that's essentially the buttons that we have there. This watch, if you look on the right side and the left side for that matter, you'll notice that it does not have a speaker anywhere, but it does have a little tweeter thing inside. So it does give you some little beep notifications. And it can make a few different tones. So if you're running, it'll give you tones when you hit the 1 mile mark, the 2 mile mark. It'll let you know when it started a workout. And if you start running and you have it ready, but you didn't start the workout, it'll notify you that you didn't actually start it yet. And on top of that, it also has some haptic feedback. So it will vibrate on your wrist. As always, thank you all for watching.
So this is the Garmin Forerunner 245 Music. Now at a first glance, it doesn't appear that it's a whole lot different than the 235, but under the hood, they've updated a lot of the hardware, including a better GPS chip that uses less energy, so therefore the watch can run longer. It also has an updated optical heart rate sensor. Garmin has added the pulse oximeter measuring technology on this watch. They've also added all-day stress tracking and the body battery functionality that we've seen on some of their newer watches. The watch itself has a 7-day battery life. It does not have a barometric altimeter similar to some of the more expensive Garmin watches like the Garmin Fenix series watches or the Forerunner 645. But what the 245 offers is an affordable package where you can have a smartwatch that has onboard music for streaming to Bluetooth headphones, as well as some great smart features, and it can track virtually any exercise that you throw at it. Now, it does not have a touchscreen, and that's very intentional on Garmin's part. A lot of the feedback that they get is that runners and swimmers and cyclers don't like to have to fidget with a touchscreen. They would much prefer buttons. But you do have access to Garmin's Connect IQ, where you can download a lot of different apps for this watch in addition to more watch faces. And this does have a backlit display that works wonderfully well, even in pitch black darkness. Whereas Garmin's Elevate sensors have tended to be calibrated more towards cardio-based exercise and less towards lifting and gym-based exercise. So I was expecting subpar results, but I was actually very surprised to see that the optical heart rate sensor was agreeing spot on with my Apple Watch. Now, obviously, one of the great features about the 245 is that it also pairs with an external heart rate sensor. So I did go ahead and do that. It did connect to an external heart rate sensor, and I got great data. I mean, spot on, perfect data from a heart rate sensor, even during gym-based exercise. So based on my experience in the gym, Garmin has finally gotten their optical heart rate sensor right in terms of using it for gym-based exercise. And this is a watch that I would recommend for gym-based use.
Here we have the Fitbit Versa 3, which is a great mid-range fitness tracker for $230. It has added features like onboard GPS, Alexa, and Google Assistant support, plus a handful of health tracking features and metrics, including SpO2, to help you meet your fitness goals. The Versa 3 design looks familiar to its predecessor. It has the characteristic squoval face, not quite round but not as blocky as square faces. It has a decent-sized AMOLED display to clearly see all the information, and to keep it streamlined, you've got an innovative new haptic button. The Versa 3 also loses the physical button, which helps it be more resistant to water. The Versa 3 features a new silicone infinity band, which we found to be quite a bit softer. This made it more comfortable for everyday wear, and especially during sleep. The Versa 3 comes in 3 different color options. If you like swapping out bands, you'll love the new mechanism allowing you to easily switch them out for different occasions. Fitbit packs a lot into the new Versa 3. It's an extremely comprehensive fitness tracker, especially when compared to the more entry-level Fitbit Inspire and Charge lines. You get 24/7 activity tracking, detailed sleep tracking, and active zone minutes with analytics and insights. All this makes it great for those wanting to take their fitness and health to the next level. You also get some great smart features. One of the big additions is the onboard GPS, which is a first in the Versa line. So you'll be able to track your runs, rides, swims, and more, without always having to bring your phone along. Although you do take quite a hit on your battery performance with it on. It's rated to give you over 6 days, but expect only about 10 to 12 hours with continual GPS usage. The good news is that it's the first Fitbit to feature quick charging, so with just a 12-minute charge, you're good to go for another 24 hours in a pinch. It also comes with a new magnetic charging cable, which is slim and less finicky than the clamp-on kind. Another big feature is support of both Alexa and Google Assistant. You can set alarms, check the weather, and integrate seamlessly with your smart home. You'll also be able to receive calls hands-free with its integrated speaker and microphone. You no longer have to pull out your phone to take calls.
Today, we're going to talk about the Fitbit Charge 4 and why I think it's the best fitness tracker yet thanks to its built-in GPS and helpful new health features. Now, this $150 Fitbit Charge 4 is only the company's second device with GPS. Now, Fitbit is behind the game a little bit when it comes to including GPS in their watches, but they're doing a great job. During my time testing the Charge 4, I went out and ran in the suburbs and I kept a good distance from anyone I encountered. Of course, the Fitbit is great thanks to the GPS and its step tracking, but it's got a ton of other great qualities too, including enhanced sleep tracking and a new fitness metric to let you know if you're getting enough exercise. So before reviewing the features and the functionality of the watch, I want to talk about design a little bit. Now, the Charge 4 looks almost identical to its predecessor, the Charge 3. They both have a similar rectangular design, and they both have a grayscale OLED touchscreen. And of course, like any other Fitbit, the band is replaceable and you can get different colors, different materials. Now, if you go back some of the more previous generations, they did have a physical silver button, and the touch button works well, but sometimes it is nice to have that feedback. Now, one of the greatest things about the Charge 4's touchscreen is it's super easy to read in bright sunlight, and it responds quickly to swipes even when my fingers are greasy or sweaty. And the good news is, if you're upgrading from the Charge 3 to the Charge 4, you'll be able to keep your old band and swap it to the new watch if you've got one that you're really attached to. All in all, I like the look of it and I really like the feel of it. This watch works great when it comes to how it fits on my wrist. Now, about the watch's functionality. With the Charge 4, Fitbit is introducing a new fitness metric called active zone minutes. Basically, what it's going to do is it's going to measure the time you spend in a target heart rate zone and track your progress towards the goal of 150 minutes per week. That means that during the course of the week, all of your exercise is tracked and it'll tell you exactly how many minutes you've stayed within the recommended heart rate. And that set heart rate is the recommended minimum from the American Heart Association, Centers for Disease Control, and World Health Organization. By inputting your age and your resting heart rate, as well as your overall fitness level, the Charge 4 will automatically calculate your target heart zone based on that information. The app will also show you a chart of your heart rate and the time you spent in each zone: fat burn, cardio, and peak. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Alright folks, so this is the brand new Fenix 6 Pro Solar from Garmin, which brings the solar charging capabilities that was originally found on the Fenix 6X Pro Solar down to the regular size 6 model as well as the smaller size 6S. But there's also going to be some new activity profiles. So there's going to be indoor rock climbing, there's going to be bouldering, and then they've also added Garmin's grit and flow mountain bike metrics. So just like the Fenix 6X Pro Solar, the Fenix 6 Pro Solar and the 6S Pro Solar use what Garmin calls Power Glass, which incorporates a see-through solar panel with a display that's protected by Gorilla Glass. But there's also this little goldish ring that surrounds the display that's significantly more efficient than the translucent panel. So the addition of these photovoltaic cells boosts the solar charging capability. In terms of what kind of battery life you should expect to get out of the Fenix 6 Pro Solar, Garmin claims that you should be able to get up to 14 days out of it in smartwatch mode. So basically not using it to record any GPS activities. However, if you go ahead and toss in some sunshine, what they say I think is 3 hours a day in direct sunlight, you should be able to get up to 16 days out of it. In terms of GPS battery life, Garmin claims that you should be able to get up to 36 hours out of it without any solar charging. Go ahead and toss in some sunshine, you should be able to get up to 40 hours out of it. But how do those claims actually hold up? So first off, there's going to be a battery saver mode, and this is a non-activity based mode. And what this mode does is basically turns nearly everything off and turns it into like a normal watch. And this is advertised to get you up to 48 days. And then if you add in solar charging, they advertise that you can get up to 80 days out of it. That's quite a bit. Then for activity-based power modes, they have a max battery mode, which is supposed to get you up to 72 hours of GPS battery life, and then 93 hours with proper solar charging. And to get that kind of battery life, it'll be using Ultra Track for GPS recording intervals, and then it basically disables everything else. And then there's also going to be a built-in jacket mode, and basically it actually has most of the default settings with the jacket mode, but it will actually disable the wrist-based heart rate since you're wearing it on the outside of a jacket. And then you can go ahead and add custom power modes where you can enable and disable certain features to your liking just based on the activities that you want to do. And then you can go ahead and name these anything that you want.